Breaking news. MH370 report, all 4 emergency locator devices on Malaysian Airlines flight failed. All 4 emergency locating systems, designed to pinpoint the site of a crashed aircraft, failed on the doomed Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. It was revealed today at the conclusion of a massive international investigation. The now infamous Boeing 777 aircraft carrying 239 people disappeared on its way to Beijing from Kuala Lumpur on March 8, 2014, sparking one of the world's greatest unsolved aviation mysteries. All commercial aircraft carry emergency locator transmitters designed to automatically switch on when a plane is in distress. However, as the findings of the final investigation into the MH370 disaster were unveiled today, Chief Investigator Kok Soo-chan revealed all 4 ELTs on board the missing plane had failed. Their batteries were within their expiry dates, but for whatever reason, no signal was sent out. Grace Nathan, outspoken daughter of one of the passengers on board MH370, showed dismay and anger at what she called the non-findings and her fury at the malfunction of the ELT''S. She said, "There is no explanation why none of 4 transmitters on the plane sent any distress signal. But apparently these transmitters, which are on every single plane, only work 22% of the time." On May 29, Malaysia called off a 3-month search by U.S. firm Ocean Infinity that spanned 112,000 square kilometers. 43,243 square miles, in the southern Indian Ocean and ended with no significant findings. It was the second major search after Australia, China and Malaysia ended a fruitless $200 million, $147 million, search across an area of 120,000 square kilometers, 46,332 square miles, last year. Voiced 370. A group representing the relatives, has previously urged the Malaysian government for a review of the flight, including any possible falsification or elimination of records related to MH370 and its maintenance. The families said the report pointed to mistakes by the Malaysian Air Traffic Control (ATC) Center. It showed there were only 2 attempted phone calls made to the aircraft from the ground, 4 to 5 hours apart. The investigators could not provide adequate answers as to why no other calls were made after the jetliner went off the radar, Grace added. Investigators looking into why the Boeing 777 veered thousands of miles off its scheduled route before eventually plunging into the Indian Ocean believe someone may have deliberately switched off MH370's transponder before diverting it over the Indian Ocean. Newly elected Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad has said Malaysia will consider resuming the search for MH370 only if new clues come to light. The second is about mangosteens and batteries. MH370 was carrying 4,566 kilograms of mangosteens and 221 kilograms of lithium-ion batteries in its cargo hold. It has long been speculated that this could have sparked a fire that led to the crash. The report today rejects this theory, but the analysis is based only by looking at previous battery and mangosteen shipments. The fine details confirm that the battery shipment did not go through X-ray screening on the day of the flight because there were no available X-ray machines large enough. Larger machines were installed a few months after MH370 disappeared. This could raise questions about whether a battery malfunction, or improper packing, could have led to the crash. The report stated, "There have been reported difficulties with ELT signals if an aircraft enters the water. In these instances, the ELT does not activate, or the transmission is ineffective as a result of being submerged." Today a new report, coming 2 months after Malaysia called off a privately funded underwater search, explained that MH370's right flapper on was in a neutral position as the plane crashed into the ocean. To pilots this indicates there was no one at the helm at the time or that the pilot was incapacitated, perhaps by a terrorist, because a planned descent even onto water would have seen the flapper ends deployed to slow the aircraft. No trace of the MH370 has ever been found, but part of the plane's wing washed up on the coast of Reunion Island, providing crucial evidence to the competing theories about what happened to MH370 and where the wreckage lies. Many conspiracists have argued that Captain Zahri Ahmad Shah, or another pilot, was conscious at the end of the flight and that he may have deliberately orchestrated a mass murder-suicide. Investigators have said this isn't likely, with the report emphasizing finding that the flapper-on was not deployed, meaning that nobody was in control. In today's report, the chief investigator said, damage examination indicates that the right outboard flap was most likely in the retracted position and the right flapper-on was probably at, or close to, the neutral position, at the time they separated from the wing. All this gives us the indication and belief that the aircraft at that time was not configured to land. He added there was some evidence that points irresistibly to unlawful interference, such as the communications ceasing and the manual turn back. However, he said there was evidence against unlawful interference, such as the fact no group had claimed credit. He also clarified that the pilot and first officer showed now psychological signs that they might have deliberately crashed the plane. He said, "I'm not ruling out anything, but there were 2 psychiatrists in my team and they were responsible for examining the audio recordings of the pilot and they concluded there was no anxiety and no stress in the recording, it was just normal, and they also recorded the footage from CCTV. They didn't find any significant behavioral changes."